I don't know, is it tough to have people think they know you because they've heard everything you've written?
Yeah, absolutely. I hate that. I hate that. People really think they know you from the songs, and they do. They know parts of me, but they know like this concentrated, superhuman version of you. You know what I mean?
They know like your avatar.
Exactly.
Your chorus,
and it's just like what I've picked to put out there. They don't know what cereal I like.
I don't know what cereal I like.
Hey, welcome everybody. This is your host, Jonathan Brown, and that was me having fun with the transpose button. That's right. Tonight, we sit down and we talk to Ceschi Ramos, indie rap legend, folk punk icon, and founder of Fake 4 Inc. And when I say that, it makes it sound like he is on a giant pedestal, and I don't know, sometimes we think about very popular and famous people like that, and I want to start by saying that Ceschi was so down to earth, like so extra eye level, so devoid of ego and willing to share and just meet me. It's a silly story how I actually got to sit down with him. I saw him at the House of Blues, and my girlfriend Trisha was there, and we were talking before the show, and he asked me how I was doing, and I said that I was great, and I just got off the road, and I started this podcast where I interview artists, and then Trisha says, "Oh, you should totally interview Ceschi." And I was like, I don't know, he's probably busy. He's probably really busy. There's no way he would have time for that. And then we talked to him before the show, and Trisha just sort of blurted out, "You should interview with Jonathan." And she didn't say it like that because she doesn't talk like that, but she actually just walked in to the living room. So Trisha, maybe you could tell us, what did you say?
I said, "You should do an interview with Jonathan."
So that's actually how she sounds. Unexpected visit from the amazing girlfriend Trisha. So anyways, let me just get to it, and I'm gonna hit the thing where the interview starts. And I want to thank you for listening. And yes, I will be back to tell you all about my life at the outro. But thanks again, Ceschi, for sitting down with me in New Orleans, and thanks everyone else for listening, because it means a lot to me, and I hope you enjoy our conversation. Thank you so much, Ceschi. Hey everybody, welcome to Groundwater. This is Jonathan Brown, and today we're talking to Ceschi. Hey Ceschi.
Hey, Jonathan.
Hey.
What's going on?
Chillin'. You rocked it last night at House of Blues.
Thanks, man. I got some beads at the end of the night.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah?
As soon as I took off my sweaty, disgusting shirt, I got just laced with beads. I don't know why. No, I'm lying.
Was it? Okay. Everyone thinks that's like a thing that we do here.
I've been to Mardi Gras once. It was a horrible experience.
Yeah, it's like it's a great place to black out and get robbed.
Yeah, well, I was sober, and I was taking care of a girlfriend who was not sober, and I was like 22 or something, 23, and she was younger. I think she was underage still, maybe like 19 or 20, and she was like 20, and I remember it being like taking care of a drunk child while people were trying to grab at her and fight me, and that's all I remember. And then I also remember going to the casino, Harrah's, later that night alone and winning money on a poker table. That was my experience at Mardi Gras. But yeah, the beads thing was real at that point.
Yeah. That's what's up. Well, okay.
But I don't know much. I mean, I love this place. I love visiting here, but I don't know much about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, once you get in it, I feel like it's different than it looks like on the outside. I guess you could say that for any city.
Yeah, for sure. No, I can imagine. I know we're like in deep tourist part of New Orleans right now.
Yeah, Canal and Bourbon. We're on. We're like, you don't get more touristy than where we are.
Yeah.
So you came here when you were 23.
Yeah, I was here. Yeah, I wasn't playing shows. It was just for Mardi Gras, with a friend of my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
Was going to Tulane, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Is that here?
Yeah.
Tulane? Yeah.
That's here.
Yeah, I think that's where she was going to school, and so, or was it Loyola? It was one of those. It was a school here, and she invited us to stay with her and go to Mardi Gras.
Okay.
So that was my experience. And then I didn't come back for many, many years.
Okay.
And that was pre-Katrina.
Yeah.
So
when did you decide? You said that was before I started playing shows. When did you? Was there like a moment where you were like, "Fuck it, I want to do this"?
Yeah, I think Fake Flowers, my first album, was out at that time.
Okay.
It was out on a small label called Beyond Space Entertainment, who had put out records by Mac Lethal and KDI and a bunch of really cool records, honestly. And they put out my first album, but I didn't really tour extensively until I joined the band Dead by Wednesday, and that was in 2006. We started touring, and my first extensive tour was with them. Yeah. And that was me singing for a hardcore metal band.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I was an elementary school teacher. I was teaching Spanish in New Haven, Connecticut.
Yeah.
And did that for almost a year, and then went on the road. Hit the road with Dead by Wednesday and did like a 3 insane long tour of the grimiest, hardest tour of my life. You know, one of the worst, but also a great experience. And then from there, I think I've been touring and living almost essentially off of that since. Wow. You know, I haven't had a regular job for 10 years.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So that was 07-ish, and now it's 2017.
Mm-hmm. 07, I was invited to Europe for the first time.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of crazy stuff happened that year. But that trip to Europe really sparked I was like, I'm doing this. Yeah. There are fans all over the world somehow because of the internet or whatever.
Right.
And it was insane, and it was an insane, beautiful experience, and that really got me started. Like, that was it, and I just went hard.
Yeah. How does touring in Europe differ than the States?
They take care of you, like,
I've heard that.
Way more.
Really?
Yeah. You get to the venue around, 4 or 5. There's food laid out for you. Maybe if you eat meat, there's the cold cuts, or if you're vegan, there's 3 types of vegan spreads, and they're like legit, and that's just the snacks. And then you go in the back, and there'll be like either a homemade meal prepared for you, or a great restaurant meal, like could be gourmet as fuck. In some cases you'll have pretty much, if you drink, you have any drink you could possibly want, pretty much endlessly. Yeah. Like, they're not really stingy like they are here with that. And you get paid better in general. And then in the next morning, you always have a place to stay. Yeah. And the next morning, you will be fed breakfast of some sort. So croissants, coffee,
This sounds like a beautiful dream.
Yeah, it's all on a very DIY level. It's just the standard there. Yeah. The standard there is just so much higher, so much more respect for art and artists, Yeah. The communities that have been built, the squats that host artists, they're just on point, They're just really beautiful art communities, and different, they might live by different, political philosophies. Like, a lot of anarchist squats exist out there, but everyone's welcome. It's, refugees welcome. They house people, they feed people, they put on shows, and it's just like,
Yeah.
It's awesome. And a lot of times it's like government funded as well.
Whoa.
So they'll be able to live in this abandoned, prison or something. Like it was like an old prison.
Yeah.
And they'll like remake it. And like this one place in Frankfurt was a refugee like holding prison. Mostly, I believe that's what it was. And they remade it into a museum. The top floor of it is a museum of all the graffiti that's still on the wall from the prisoners, and they'll translate, and it's like every piece of graffiti on the wall has like a story to it, and they made the whole thing a museum, and then it's a venue at the basement, and it's so cool, man. It's just just a lot more love for art out there, and just the standard of the standards are higher. Standards. That's all I can say.
Yeah. And so when you tour Europe, you're in general, it's kind of on a DIY philosophy.
Yeah. A lot of it is done through. Even if I have a booking agent now, he's pretty legit booking agent. He's Astronautilus' booking agent as well. He still will book me in squats and places like that where, they'll have bunks for the artist to sleep in next to the stage. It's like almost everywhere. Or else they'll put you up in a hotel or whatever. But yeah, it's all DIY. It's very much like community based. I love seeing the way people. They'll have a group, like a concert group. It'll just be like a group of like 10 friends or whatever, 10 like-minded individuals, and they'll name themselves some sort of concert group. And then they get government funding oftentimes to do this and bring people to town. But it's also very DIY. Like they're, I'll cook the potatoes, I'll make the seitan or whatever. It's like, it's like they're each very involved and one person makes a poster, and it's just, I don't know, it's cool. It's a lot more collective.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. In the States, do you still tour heavily in the DIY circles?
Oh man, well yeah, but I like to, but those, there's a war on DIY right now.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah, ever since the ghost ship fire in Oakland, which people who were close to friends of mine died in, and that's I actually spent my childhood in the East Bay and Berkeley and Oakland and stuff, so that hit close to home. There has been, and I don't know if you've talked about this on the podcast or what, but there's been a right-wing sort of attack of these spaces because they're known as spaces for, diversity and, as they say, far left leaning philosophies, and a lot of our friends' spaces have been shut down in the last since Trump's been elected.
They'll hit him with like
pretty much
building code stuff or inspections.
Inspections, and then it'll just last forever. It'll be too expensive, and then some of these places were. One place in particular, the flux capacitor in Colorado Springs, they got hit with, the whole town loved this space. There's nothing like it in Colorado Springs. But they got hit with like some sort of fire inspection. Yeah. They were drawing 200, 300 kids sometimes into the space, and around that, it was a lot of people coming through. So they did get attention, but it was all sort of this 4chan-based attack of DIY spaces that's happening around America right now.
Yeah.
And so, I try to support those spaces a lot. I went out and I played this 2-year anniversary of Flux, but it got shut down shortly after that. And they're always going to make something else work, but I love those brothers who run that place, but it's getting tougher and tougher to find a good good DIY spots.
Yeah, a lot of the spaces are like not putting their address online.
Mm-hmm.
You have to kind of private message to know where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And on this tip, it's not, I don't think it's like alt-right, but it's music industry stuff. And I was going to ask about how you felt about, I don't know if you do this or know about it. You probably do. BMI's PRO, performance royalties thing.
Yeah.
Right. So.
ASCAP, all that crap.
Right. So if you go and you play a show somewhere, and then you send him a little, there's like a form on the BMI website, and you kind of drop down, click on the songs you played, kind of estimate the attendance, and then they send you like pennies on the dollar at the end of the year for it.
Yeah.
But what's happening there is that the artists are telling BMI where they're playing. And so now BMI reps go to the venues, no matter how small they are. It could be like a garage.
And they try to tax them. Yep.
Yeah, and they hit them with like big fines, like huge checks.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I always keep the small venues off. I never ever would ever put something like flux capacitor on my ASCAP list. I know about that stuff, but I guess not. Not everybody knows.
I don't think a lot of people do, and it freaks me out in the way that like the artists are kind of snitching on the venues
and not even knowing. That should be something people should be more aware of for sure.
Yeah.
But we played House of Blues last night. Like, I'm definitely putting that on the...
Right. Yeah.
On my ASCAP or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Can I ask you something about genre? Like, how do you feel about genre? Because I found your music on like some rap shit. And then I start digging in. And I look at the old stuff, and I look at like some side projects, and I'm like, wow, this is like folk punk. This is acoustic. This is not just a rap thing. And you don't seem to be limited by the boundaries of genre.
Yeah, I've tried many genres in my life. I've never been a purist of anything. You know what I mean? I've never believed in that, like the purist mentality or whatever. Yeah. Like I've never been like just boom bap. I only listen to boom bap or something. I've never been that. I've been surrounded by that since I was a kid, because especially I moved to the East Coast when I was a young teenager.
Yeah.
And that's how the hip hop scene was. It was on some purist shit. I've always just been about everything, everything I could get into.
Yeah.
I'm sure you haven't heard this, but our old band, which we're actually working on some new recordings now, Anonymous INC, we were like super genre fluid. Like we'd be doing stuff like almost like Mr. Bungle style, where it'll be like a jazz song, crazy like improv stuff, and then like psychedelic rock and hip hop and folk singer-songwriter kind of stuff all combined, and like Latin jazz and influences and stuff like that. It was just all over the place. And another band I was in called Toca was the same way. It's just I've always been about like trying everything, but I've sort of with my stuff, I'm sort of sticking to a sound when it's gonna be under the name Ceschi.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that sound, I've always felt that folk and hip-hop are lyrically two of the most powerful genres.
Yeah.
They can say a lot with words. So I've sort of tried to live in that liminal space between those genres, and, you call it folk punk. I've always had a lot of punk influence since I was a kid, so I was really into hardcore, and I've been heavy bands and stuff in the past, so that sort of energy makes its way into there as well.
Yeah.
But and indie rock stuff, all that stuff. All of those influences, but when it comes now at age 35, I've sort of found a sound for myself that's that's I feel like represents me, and it's all of those things. It's not really a genre.
Yeah.
But it's I'm not gonna be putting my jazz songs on the Ceschi record, for instance.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm not gonna be doing like a salsa breakdown necessarily, or
Yeah.
even though I love that kind of stuff, it's like there's a overall idea about what I'm doing with each project. So.
Do you tour in a folk capacity? I've only seen you
with folk.
Touring. Yeah, like
yeah. Oh yeah, I
Okay.
have done that before. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm sorry to cut you off then.
No. I was just curious because I haven't seen that. It's almost like you're bringing that to a hip hop stage, and the audience is oftentimes like, "Wow!"
And I've done the exact opposite for
a folk stage.
punk crowds, and the hip hop becomes the wow.
Yeah,
there, and it just works because it's word based and energy based music. It's not.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's simple music, really at its core. It's like beats, words, some simple chord structures, like. It's about the words, really. So I feel like, I've thought about, I have done full acoustic shows. I've done that a few times, and they're fun as well. But I also rap at those.
Yeah.
I just do it without beats.
Yeah.
I do it with like my brother playing cajon, percussion, or we do other arrangements for it. But I've done those as well.
So last night you kind of like, I don't know if you do this at all your shows, but I saw you do it last night. Is this moment of like breaking the fourth wall of the stage?
Yeah.
Where you like
it's become a thing.
Ran out into the crowd with a guitar and kind of do a short acoustic set within the hip hop show, like at the back of the venue with no mic.
Mm-hmm.
What sparked that? Were you just like, I gotta get off the stage, or like?
Well, I've done it ever since I started playing shows on some level. I didn't always move the crowd somewhere else, but there were certain shows I remember, like some of them are on video from like 2009, 2008, where there'd be a couch somewhere, and I was like, oh, I don't like standing and playing guitar oftentimes. Yeah. That's part of it. So I'd go and sit on the couch. That was like, that was in the corner, and I'd be like, hey, guys, come over here, and we'll do the show here. It was started that way because I just wanted to sit down somewhere and play guitar.
Yeah.
And when a crowd is into it, it works really well. And so then I started just making it a part of my show because I realized if a crowd's paying attention enough, it changes the entire atmosphere of the show. It's not. I've always been against the idea of just like being the guy that you're looking on stage that's like higher than you in some way, and you're just staring at him do his thing, or I never really wanted to be that, and I think that was influenced by the hardcore shows I used to go to in my youth. They were always like just everyone was part of the show. Every single person in that place was really made that show, and I loved that. I love that experience, so I try to, mimic that in my own way.
Yeah.
But the acoustic thing, I don't know. I maybe it was from early days watching Pat the Bunny. My friend Pat the Bunny, he used to go by Johnny Hobo. I remember he did full-on acoustic sets, and the first time I played with him was 2006, and they had like a wash tub bass, like one of those. They had like a little folk band, a trumpet. It was like a trumpet, a wash tub bass, and just Pat on guitar singing very loud, top of his lungs, screaming these songs. And I remember loving that energy even back then.
Yeah.
And maybe that influenced. I like that it was like right surrounded by people I like being surrounded by people while playing these songs. It feels like folk to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That feels like the folk energy to me, and so that's why I try to do it. It does not always work. It does not always work. There are shows where there was actually a show on this tour in Philly where people were just too loud, and I had to just go back on stage and play plugged in, and it really bummed me out, and I didn't like that show that much because of that.
Yeah, I was going to ask. But generally it works.
Generally, I've been lucky.
Okay.
Yeah, and people pay attention and
Yeah.
and are part of it, and that's dope. So.
Yeah. This is a totally basic question, but like on a songwriting tip, do you start with the verse or do you start with the chorus?
Oh, every song is different.
Every song's different.
Every song is different. I usually end with a chorus though.
Yeah.
I usually write the chorus like is the last thing I do.
Okay.
I just finished a new song right before this tour with Factor, and I kept being stuck. I wrote these 2 verses and I was really happy with, and I kept being stuck on this chorus. I kept trying to do different. I had like 10 ideas for it.
Yeah.
And I just ended up being like, I'm gonna make this as simple as possible, so it's actually like stays in people's head. So I kind of repeated the chorus. Ended up being like repeating one word melodically like 10 times, you know, not 10 times, but like 6 times or something. And it worked, you know. But that was the last step. That was like the icing on the cake or whatever.
Yeah.
But that really does. That can make or break a song for sure.
The chorus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're deciding whether you want a chorus or not or whatever. Yeah, I like plenty of stuff that doesn't have a chorus, but I tend to make stuff in pop structure. I do like pop songs. I like things that stay in my head that I can remember easily.
Yeah. Well, it works. Yeah. Like there's a reason.
Yeah, and I think I don't know who said this, but I like sandwiching. For instance, on the song "Say Something," I did the simplest chorus I could think of, la 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 la, and it was, and it's you know, it's that memorable little chorus with a bunch of heavy content surrounding it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's just the chorus that will stick with you, and then you go back and think about what the lyrics are saying.
Yeah. That's dope.
So that's sort of a technique I've learned over time. It sort of takes away the heaviness on some level.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's always that fine line of being too preachy or like too real sometimes. I don't know. Too much for people or something. People don't necessarily always, people like to have fun and hear pretty things as well. So I always try to walk that line between like pop and whatever else I'm doing.
Yeah. Do you ever have the balance between an audience member assuming everything you've written is autobiographical? Like, because a lot of your shit is personal.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But I would never want to come to you after the show and be like, hey, yeah, remember that lyric you said? That must have been hard for you as a person. Because you could have been writing a song that has nothing to do with you as a person. I don't know, is it tough to have people think they know you because they've heard everything you've written?
Yeah, absolutely. I hate that. I hate that. People really think they know you from the songs, and they do. They know parts of me, but they know like this concentrated, superhuman version of you. You know what I mean?
They know like your avatar.
Exactly,
your chorus,
and it's just like what I've picked to put out there. They don't know what cereal I like, or like what my daily habits are like. Like I say on Say Something, it's like life is mostly monotony and like repetition. Like people think that you live a certain way because of these hyper concentrated lyrics that are picked out to represent you, and a lot of times they don't. So, but honestly, almost everything I write is autobiographical, and it's based on some reality.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't. Like I remember Slug when I first heard that song. He had a song, the first Slug song I ever heard. He was talking about his parents dying in the Midwest and like cornfields, and it was like storytelling stuff.
Yeah.
And I heard it as autobiographical. I was like, damn, that guy's got a crazy life. Then I realized it was fictional, and it changed my opinion about that piece and everything, which is still cool. I like fictional writing, but
Yeah.
I don't write like that. Everything I write, it's either based on multiple people or based on myself, or I don't stray too far. I could write it under a character's name, whatever, but it's based on somebody I know or myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
And this song, All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Yeah, right. That's one that's more of like a message song or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just about people, thinking twice about mostly what they're eating. But it's also, I think that was written in the deepest depression, one of the deepest depressions of my life. And it's also, I don't know, it's really about questioning. A lot of my songs are about like questioning hegemonic structure and like ideas that society has called a standard or common sense. Like, why is that common sense to you? Why is eating a person different? Too different. It's not that different than eating the flesh of an animal. Like why? Like, think about it.
Especially if they died of natural causes, or
exactly
it was like roadkill or something.
Right.
Maybe somebody got hit by a car.
It's putting it out there so people think twice about it. But it was also a song written out of deep depression and loneliness. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one because I felt like there was a lot to it, but at some level it subverted the autobiographical.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, fuck you if you think I ate a soup out of a dog's tail.
Yeah, right. And that stuff is actually, it's kind of a joke for my girlfriend to hear. A lot of that's actually based on my partner Amber's family. She, the first line, one day I was at her parents' house in Texas, and they had 3 dogs. And then the next day I went back, and there's only 1 dog left. And her mom was like, yeah, your brother brought the dogs, just brought them to a farm. And I was like, I see what happened there. And they were like really old dogs, but it was like, it was fucked up. And that's sort of like what inspired that song. And then at the end, our dog was born without a tail. Okay. And so a lot of people, he has like a weird back condition where he's a dachshund, and he was born without a tail. Yeah. And so people, like dachshund lovers, look at him and think that we're super cruel for cutting off his tail. That would give him balance. We never cut off his tail, but he's just born like that. So that's a little joke about him at the end. Okay. It's like, yeah, we cut the dog's tail off and ate it because we were broke.
That's what's up.
But yeah, a lot of it's like based on my life. Somewhere.
Yeah. Do you feel there's a difference, or what is the difference between art and entertainment?
Oh, right. No, one of these. That's a vague one, but I think there's plenty of entertainment that has no interest in being art. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy, the silver guy down the street in New Orleans.
Oh, that he paints himself silver?
He paints himself silver and insults everybody that walks by.
That's a little weird, yeah.
But it's entertainment.
Yeah.
You could call that guy art. You could call almost anything art, actually. I think. It's really in the eye of the beholder. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But I think you can create your own set of rules for what art means to you, and your own standards for what art means. But yeah, I think entertainment can be pretty much anything that engages you or takes your mind off the. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, watching a football game is entertainment. You're not. it's hard to call that art. Some people could call it art, what those players are doing out there.
Yeah.
But mostly, mostly people are just sitting there and watching other people entertain them through, through sport or,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think for me personally, I've had to learn how to be more entertaining live because my music is not very entertaining, I don't think. I think it's like, I always put,
Is this
what I consider my standards of art first for what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like what I like, what I want to present, what I want to say first. And then I've had to learn how to present that in an entertaining fashion.
Okay.
And so when I'm writing a song that's heavy as half-mast, how do I present that where it actually engages people, doesn't make people just like cry or something? You know what I'm saying? Like it's and so I've been able to learn how to do live versions of songs that might not have gone over well live otherwise. And I think that's where entertainment came in.
So specifically, like with that song, is the answer the hook?
Yeah, I don't know. That one's a weird one. It doesn't really. Yeah. Maybe the hook was.
I mean, because that's the part where like
Yeah.
it's heavy as hell, but that's the part where we're like screaming along with you. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
And so that's the engagement.
Yeah. Right. Hooks do tie things together often.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but it's also about my presentation of it. I've had to learn. I remember playing Bad Jokes for the first time, and Bad Jokes is a really slow song.
Yeah.
And I remember it really feeling like it bombed, like really bad, in front of a local crowd in my hometown. It was like right away, like right when I wrote it, and I was like, man, I'll never perform that song again. And I thought it's just a song for a record, like it's going to stay recorded and it's not going to be a live thing. That all changes as soon as people actually learn it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
and then the meaning of the song kind of gets away from you a little. It's theirs.
Yeah, it's everyone's.
Yeah.
I was talking to POS about that today. Like, yeah, we make these songs for ourselves, and then it becomes everybody's. We can't control what that means to other people. We can't control who that influences. Yeah, it does change the meaning. I know what it means to me, but it can mean whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can make whatever kind of meaning you want out of it. But it's funny. As soon as people actually learn even the slow songs and can sing along and stuff, it's changes everything.
Yeah. I just read Bruce Springsteen's autobiography. And
I heard an interview with Mark Maron that he did. It was really good interview.
It's so good. And he talks about how Born in the USA is a protest song.
Yes, I know.
And it's got kind of recontextualized with this flag waving, like, America first thing.
Right, he hated that.
And that's not what the song's intention was. And then I sort of question, like, well, is the communication, the value of it based on its result or its intention? Because oftentimes those are different.
Absolutely. You would like to think that the intention is important, but
we want to, and on the front end you want to be like, well, he meant well, or like the intention's all that matters. But on the back end, a lot of times the effect, the result, is often what matters.
Yeah.
Or what stays, or what then modifies the conversation from then forth.
Right, and what can you do about that? You just put that in the world. It's not yours anymore.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, you just put it out.
Yeah, I was just talking to Steph POS about that. Right. Like not to talk about crazy things, but he wrote songs that influenced people to start riots and throw Molotovs for the first time.
Oh yeah. Like what? Fuck your stuff.
I don't know exactly.
Lines.
Yeah,
Bumper has a couple lines.
it actually happened, and he's like, okay, I have to be a little more careful about certain things I say. And, you know, I think the older we get, we don't know how people are going to interpret what we write. Yeah, I mean, people that were arrested and, you know, lost chunks of their lives were influenced by a song. Wow. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just like, okay, we want to say something, but we have to think sometimes before putting it out. We have to do the edits right. We have to. Yeah. It's weird. There's a sense of there is a responsibility, you know. There's a responsibility to being a writer that people listen to. And so, yeah, it's weird. You don't think that when you're writing a song. I don't like thinking about what other people are gonna think. Yeah. You know, when I sit down to write a song, I don't give a fuck about what the response is gonna be. Yeah. But now that I've seen people, dude, I get suicide notes written to me. Like multiple times a year. Like people sending me like, this is the end. This is my last. Email, or they're at a show and they're like, here, take this. Or... No, email. Like mostly Facebook messages from people I've never really interacted with. It's happened multiple times. Like, it's happened. I mean, I don't. Do you engage? Like, how the fuck do you deal with that? Yeah, I do engage because I feel like maybe me engaging will turn things around. Like maybe me just saying hi. Hope. You know, maybe me saying, hey, you know, we all go through good and bad cycles. I've been there too. If you stick it out, there's going to be a good cycle coming your way. And I've said that, I feel like at least 10 times to people because, and I've seen it. I've seen people go through it also, like go through with it also. But sometimes I feel like maybe a few words could help some. Yeah, it definitely can. But it's then those are the moments when you realize you have responsibility when you write these songs. Because why me out of everybody in the world? Why are you reaching out to me about this? Because you think I have some sort of knowledge about you know I have experience with that kind of thing. So yeah, and because of these songs, so yeah, I don't know. Yeah. It gets heavy, you know. My friend Pat the Bunny, he stopped making music because of that. Because people would reach out and just say weird shit to him? Yes. He was like he honestly is like a Jesus figure to people. Yeah, he's like a folk punk hero. God. Yeah, he's a hero. And yeah. Is that weird? Yes, because he's such a normal dude. Yeah. He's such a normal dude. He just wants to be. He's just funny and nerdy, intelligent dude. And he just wants to be that, and yet because of songs and the way he's so good at writing lyrics. Yeah. People make him a lot more than human. He just wants to be like any of us, and you know. Yeah. And it was extra hard for him, and he dipped. He's like. He's not like making music right now, and he's chilling. He's doing great, but not trying to be that. Yeah. That folk. Is there any way to like remedy that? Like how would an artist pull themselves out of the clouds to then humanize after they've been Jesusified? Or is that even possible? Or is that even their responsibility? I don't know. I mean, his reaction was no more music under this name, and then people kept following him under the next name he did, and it was just like a cycle. And then now he's just like, no more punk rock, no more, I'm done. Like because the responsibility got heavy, Yeah. And I get it. It's not for everybody, especially someone who. Struggles with depression or struggles with, addiction or whatever it may be. Yeah. You need to take care of yourself, your mental well-being, not take care of everybody sometimes. Yeah. in those cases. I for one am an idiot, and I don't think I'll ever stop, because I'll try to take on that challenge. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Dope.
I'm also not. I also haven't been regarded as a folk hero since I was 16 years old. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's really different.
Yeah. If I could switch gears a little.
Yeah.
I'm curious about asking you this because of your experience with it and because of Fake 4. Like, what is the utility of a record label in 2017? When anybody can like put out their own stuff online, is it the value of a cosign from someone greater than you? Does it help you money wise? I didn't know money was involved in record deals anymore. Like, is it? What is the function of it? Because
it's, I mean, real basic level.
Is it a tastemaker thing? Is it?
Yeah.
You get to say like,
Yeah.
I'm involved in this conversation, and if you like everybody else who's being talked about, I'm talked about in the same circle. So now you like me.
Yeah, I mean, straight up.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I don't think everyone needs it. I don't think labels are even necessary.
Yeah.
But we've been spending 9 years building a community that trusts us.
Okay.
And then when we co-sign something, and we say, this is something you should check out, it's more likely people are going to check it out than if you're putting it out on your own. That's just it.
Yeah. No, that's super true.
And it's like, I notice it especially with the free December releases. We get hundreds and hundreds of downloads for these artists that a lot of people have never heard of. Yeah. And if they did that same thing on their own Bandcamp, it would be a lot less. Like, I would guess 5 times less than, what they're seeing through us,
Yeah.
And it's not about money in that case at all.
Sure.
But every cent that gets donated to their records goes back into promoting them through like Facebook ads or whatever, or however we spend it. Maybe we'll make kiss ads or whatever it is. But there is that thing, that tastemaker thing. Like we decided that this is worth your time, so
Yeah.
check it out. And I think that is always going to be the case. There's always going to be groups like that trying to push artists in that way. I don't think labels are necessary, though. I think, if you build your own fan base and you've got people who buy your music and follow everything you do, like, why do you need a label? Unless it's gotten too big that you can't handle the day-to-day, you want someone to handle the manufacturing for you, and you want someone to handle distribution for you, because physical distribution is still it's still a thing. Like, we still, our larger records will still get thousands in stores, so it's it's still relevant. People want vinyl, people want CDs still. You'd be surprised. That's something that we could offer that you can't do on your own, because we've got the rapport with a distributor.
Okay.
Those are the things we can offer. And then just another helping hand for pushing you. That's pretty much it.
For every,
not money. In fact, you'd be losing, probably missing out on money being with the label. Because think of all the label expenses. And, a label's going to take a percentage no matter what. We take less than almost any other label, I think.
Sure.
Ever. But it's, we still invest a lot. We invest in manufacturing usually, and distribution, and sometimes radio and PR if the record's big enough. And,
Yeah.
So there are reasons to have it.
There are reasons to have it.
But I don't think they're necessary either in 2017. Well, clearly they're not.
Do you have any advice? I think I would agree with you. I think they're like a gorgeous thing for a tastemaker and to be involved in that conversation. However, not necessary.
Yep.
Like, because you can do it on your own. But if someone were looking for one, because I feel like there's a demographic of folks out there who like are are recording songs in their bedroom,
Right.
and they like dream of the one day they'll get the call.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, I think that's the majority of musicians.
And
I really do.
In most genres, right? So,
Yeah.
do you have any advice for the bedroom recording man waiting on the phone call? Like, should he stop waiting on the fucking phone call?
Get out of your bedroom. Go play shows.
Yeah.
Play shows locally. Bring people to your town.
Yeah.
Make yourself known. If you're confident enough with your music, bring people that you respect to your town. A lot of them don't cost that much to bring.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, if you're really serious, drop everything and tour.
Yeah.
Do it. And
that's what's up.
It's never going to be the magic phone call. That just doesn't happen. That's like winning the lottery.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
It happens. It's very rare.
Have you considered either personally or for Fake 4, have you considered Patreon?
Yeah. My friend Soul did it recently successfully.
I saw his yeah.
Which is awesome. I think it's perfect for him because he has so much content. He puts out podcasts all the time. Like, that's dope. I don't personally make content quickly. I make albums that take me years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fake 4, we have like a really busy year this year, but we've always considered it. We've always considered like a subscription type service. We might in the future, or I don't know what the hell's going on. So
okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it's. We have years though, like when we put out 4 releases, and we have years when we put out 10 releases. Like, I don't want to be like a slave to the fan and supporter in that sense. Like, I don't want to be forced to be putting out 12 releases this year. You know, like.
Right.
I just don't want to do that. So I don't think it's right for us in that sense. But
yeah.
I've thought about it for sure.
Yeah. Without getting too personal, I was gonna ask just for fun about your personal life. You mentioned a significant other.
Yes.
Is it hard to keep that normalcy on tour? Is it hard? How do you? Because I think there's a lot of dudes who would love to go on tour, but they're like, my wife would kill me.
What I've been doing recently is I try to get Amber involved with tours as much as possible. So, if it's over 2 weeks, I try to fly her places. Sometimes I've had her just join me for the entire tour.
Yeah.
Or at least make the effort to do it, because she's busy as well. But
yeah,
it's just about making the effort to make things work with that. And it's definitely not easy. And we've had really rough times, but recently she came down. She did help me with merch and helps me out, like. To Philly. She came to the West Coast when I was with Astronautilus and did like merch and roadie work for me. Like, she can change my guitar strings on the spot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We went to Europe with Bluebird and his girlfriend as well.
Yeah. So it's just making.
Just try to
effort.
Yeah. Like, they're just missing you, and want to be there with you. Oftentimes, sometimes they hate it. In my case, she actually likes being on the road with me. So,
that's good.
So she's too busy to actually bring on every tour, but when it's possible, we try to make it work, and that's helped out.
Awesome. And what is? If I can ask, what is your most tangible fear?
I have a lot of like comedic things I could say, but a tangible fear. Oh man, that's a tough question. I've learned to sort of face a lot of my fears. I mean, I think all of us have this little fear of. We all sort of, I don't know about everybody, but I definitely still have a fear of death in in some way.
Yeah.
You know, I think that keeps me moving, and coming from a background of depression or whatever, like I'm afraid of depression as well now. So that's I have to like actively combat that by staying, you know, incredibly active and doing things all the time.
Yeah.
And so, I do have a fear of complete normalcy. I can't lie. Like I cannot
Getting the straight job, that would hurt.
Yeah, man. I don't want a boss. I don't want a traditional life. I was not made for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt. And then I like asking this, what is the opposite of your most tangible fear?
The opposite is pretty much what I'm doing right now, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's fun. I kind of thought you'd say that. That's awesome.
So yeah, I like this life. It's very hard sometimes, but financially more than anything. But
yeah,
I'm built for this. I'm built for being in different places every day and sharing spaces with other people and sharing words, and I feel good about doing that for as long as I can. I would like to be like old and doing it. I'd love to be like the old folks and you're grizzled and shit. Can't walk unless just wheel me out to the stage and I'll still sing words with you. Yeah, that'd be tight. That's a tight life.
That's what's up. What is there anything we should check for in the future? What are you up to next? What
am I up to? I'm working on an EP type project with some friends. I can't speak much about it because I don't know what's going on with it right now. May or may not happen, but songs are being made for that.
Okay.
And then Fake Four's got a lot of cool stuff coming out.
Yeah.
Gregory Pepper's tape's coming out end of this month, which is February. I don't know when you're putting this up. Sixo is the producer from Texas. He's got a great new production album. It's by far his best work, I think. It's got Open Like Eagle, Milo, myself, Henri Osborne, Mike and I, like a lot of the squad on there. And then we have Serengeti's Dennehy vinyl for the first time coming out on Fake Four. We haven't announced that yet, but that's going to be really awesome. It looks really good. So.
Awesome. Well, I can't thank you enough.
Yeah,
this is a dream come true, for real.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm very distracted by like the microphone and stuff. I keep looking.
No, you're doing great. I guess one last one. This just hit me just on a. What is it like to like? You just kind of listed in my head of like, if I had baseball cards, these would be like, indie rap. Collector's items I would want to have. I would be like, wow, I wish I could be on an album.
You should just start making baseball cards.
What
for indie rappers?
What's it like to like work with everybody that you love?
It is sometimes amazing and inspiring, and sometimes disappointing.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is it one of those like if you meet your idol and he's a dick thing?
Yep. Okay. I've met a lot of my idols.
Yeah.
A lot of them, and sometimes it's sad to see where they're at in life, and sometimes it's awesome and inspiring, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like everyone's different, but
yeah,
it's crazy. I definitely have no interest in fame, and I've met celebrities quite a few times, and it's like I just don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like because I've already met all my a ton of my hip hop idols and just incredible artists. And that's been a cool plus of just being a musician for life. But I don't get the I don't get like celebrity. I don't get starstruck.
Yeah.
Or anything. Like I got like the other day the other month Kate Hudson said something nice about my music, and she's an actress. And, she's Goldie Hawn's daughter, and I don't really know much about her, but people are just like, reach out to her, you know, like do something. And I'm just like, I don't care. That's great. I'm just super happy she likes it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's tight. But I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to keep doing what I do. Maybe she'll like the next thing I make, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's up. It's been super inspiring to talk to you, and thank you so much. And
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome to New Orleans. I'm really glad you're here. I know everyone loved the show last night.
Awesome. It's good to be here. It's a beautiful place.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to episode 10 of the Groundwater podcast. This is your host, Jonathan Brown. I was really excited to talk to Ceschi, and I hope you enjoyed our conversation. I'm going to keep it up. More episodes to come, and thanks for listening. Up next in my world, I'm about to go on the longest tour I've ever been on. It's about 50 solid days on the road. San Antonio, Midland, Texas, Killeen, Texas, San Marcos, Big Spring, Texas, El Paso. A couple dates in Phoenix, Las Vegas, New Mexico, Grand Canyon, Durango, Colorado, Albuquerque, Amarillo, up to Oklahoma City, Kansas City, Terre Haute, Indiana, Little Rock, Benton, Arkansas, over to the Southern Fried Poetry Slam in Louisville, Huntington, West Virginia to go rock that nasty house show they do up there, Winston-Salem at Test Pattern, Charleston, South Carolina, Columbia, Spartanburg, South Carolina, Athens, Georgia, Savannah, Georgia, twice. Shout out to Wormhole. Best sound in a tiny bar ever. And I'm doing a feature with Spitfire Poetry, and then I end in Huntsville, Alabama at the Low Mill. And I am still booking that tour. If you're listening to this and you're like, hey, maybe he should come to our town. You're absolutely right. I should come to your town. Please reach out to me. I would love to come. I'm looking to book Chicago, Ohio, Jacksonville, Florida. I would love to go back there because I love Jacksonville. Yeah, I don't know. Holler at me. The calendar is not totally full yet, and I do like to stack it up. Yeah, I just want to say thanks again for listening. I've done 10 episodes of these things, and I'm having a really good time. I'm learning a lot. I've noticed I keep asking the same questions, like what's the difference between art and entertainment? Because I want to know. I actually really want to know that answer, so I keep asking the question. And I'm getting closer to the answer. I love y'all. Thanks for listening. Bye.